My name's Chris Patterson. We're from Weatherford, Texas. This is my 2007 Dodge Ram 3500. We are rookies this year at the Drag and Drive event, and I was ready to kind of expand the competition with diesel technology and showcase what we can do. And this looks like a very inviting way to do it. And we've learned a lot. We've made one pass today. We did 596 at 112, turned down on our lowest setting, which is around 1,400 horsepower. In this configuration, it's 100% street trim, street legal with the exception of the tailpipe through the fender. And we weigh 6480 today. And we're gonna go back here in a little while and we're gonna bump it up. We added a good amount of power, so we're hoping to be sub 550s. And the whole setup, it's a 6.7 Cummins, filled block, Hamilton competition modified coolant block, D&J stage 3 cylinder head, flux diesel 400% comp hybrid injectors, 14 millimeter extra G race pumps, VS Racing 83 with a 106 ball bearing turbos, a couple kits of nitrous. We build the motor, we build the trannies, we build the whole truck at the shop, Unrivaled Diesel in Weatherford, Texas. This block and all my blocks I run in these trucks, and my daily driver 06 is just over there, and it has a filled block as well. The way we kind of do the cooling system, we're able to street drive them for extended periods of time. We have great big oil coolers that are on the outside of the fans, and we pipe all the oil out of the motor. So it's kind of a two-stage cooling. You have water that's piped in through the head and ran externally of the block, and then you have oil that you're also externally cooling. And between the two, if you drive it appropriately, you can maintain less than 200 degrees coolant temp and 160 oil temp. Obviously, if you go out there and you start jacking around, well then things get hot, but that's just kind of common sense. It's working really good for us. Most of the challenges we compete in is diesel oriented and power challenges or 3-day war weekend type thing where you have one truck that will dyno, drag race, sled pull, dirt drag, street drive kind of level of competition where you have to do these multiple segments across several days. And the street drives are normally like 100, 110 miles, and the thought of a drag and drive where you might put 1,000 or 1,500 miles on it and you have to carry everything you need to compete was very appealing because it's kind of a little bit more street oriented, and a lot of normal cars and can do in that and compete in that. So we really found that appealing and wanted to showcase that we can actually do it. And so this is day one. The goals for the whole event is to finish, represent well and clean, like clean diesel horsepower, and then showcase that we can actually do it. I don't really care about the positioning, but the class we're in is rowdy radial, and it has a very distinctive advantage for us. Normally, it's limited to a 2810 slick or a 235 radial, I think, but that's for two-wheel drive. A four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle is unlimited on the tire size. So we're obviously all-wheel drive, so we put on the Bogarts and the 30 by 14 MH Race Masters. So we have a very good advantage there. And the weight that we have also helps us with the traction. One of the big tricks we have to keeping it cool is the oil system. This engine in this configuration holds 5.5 gallons of oil. We rely very heavily on OptiLube for the oil protection. The 1540 race oil we run has been phenomenal. The bearing wear is just, I'm very impressed with it. And then we have a filter in the back. It's a big Donaldson and it holds a gallon by itself. And we have two 215,000 BTU oil coolers with 10-inch fans on them, and they hold a gallon right there. So the whole capacity is about 5.5 gallons. It actually holds more oil than it does coolant. And that's very, very critical in keeping the short block alive. The coolant basically just does the cylinder head. That's where a lot of the heat is. But the oil is responsible for the pistons and the rings and bearings really living. And that's kind of one of the big tricks we have to making it all work. We're just here to have a good time. So we're just going to see kind of how things go and make a few calls and go from there. turned up the sauce a little bit, and I made a mistake in my nitrous tuning, and 136 jet came on in first gear right out of the hole. And so here we are. As a Dodge guy, you have to have a couple transmissions, so now we're changing transmissions out. And then we'll be back tomorrow, and then we'll fix the other one up that we broke, and then we'll have another spare. And they're turning the lights off on us, so that's a sign. But here we are.